Does inverting your subwoofers on your box turn the magnets up or out? Does that increase the air volume? Yes. Does it lower the tuning of your box? Yes. The short answer is yes. How much? Well, that depends on the size of the box. In a situation like this, where we have this much subwoofer coming out of a lot of box, it's going to increase the air volume, yes, but relative to the size of the box, not a tremendous amount. So yes, it will lower the tuning. And from what I've seen, it took me down from around 37 hertz down to around 34 hertz. So it lowered it a little bit. 34, 35, somewhere in that range. So it dropped it by, you know, a couple of frequencies. How much is going to depend on how much box you have. You know, if you've only got 2 cubic foot of box, and you take, you know, 75 or 80% of a cubic foot, like this would be like 0.8 cubic feet or 0.7 cubic feet. Take that out of that enclosure and then add that extra space of the cone area here. It's going to be, you know, a non-trivial amount. And so, yes, but if you've got like a big huge box, then it's not going to make as much of a difference. So what does inverting your subwoofers do for your overall setup? Well, a few things. One, it exposes the coils. You see, the motor structure of the subwoofer is now outside of the enclosure and therefore easier to cool. They're not going to get as hot and they're going to cool off quicker. That's a big deal. Another thing is it allows you to have your wiring outside of the enclosure, so you're not trying to run wiring through the enclosure. You can get a better seal on the sealed box or a better seal on the ported box. The third thing in this realm is, well, it allows you to have a thinner enclosure here because now your magnet structure and all this frame is outside, so it gives you more flexibility in how your enclosure is shaped. And of course, it looks really cool. Having the motor structure and the basket and all outside, you've got a fairly attractive subwoofer. Can really show off the design elements and the aesthetics of it. So it looks good. Of course, if you're going to put inverted and non-inverted subs in the same enclosure, you're going to need to reverse the polarity on one of them so that they're both playing in the same phase. And in this case, if I were to flip this sub in with the other ones out, I would change the negative to the positive and the positive to negative on my overall layout so that they would stay in phase with the other subs. Another consideration is making sure that the opening that the sub is playing into is wide enough and smooth enough so that the roll on your surround doesn't impact that opening and cause it to rub and tear and get destroyed by moving in and out of the hole. So make sure you got enough room, smooth enough edge, and I like to go around with my finger on the inside of the surround. You can actually feel, if you run around there and you press against the outside of the roll, you can feel where it moves over and makes contact. So when you reach in there, you should be able to feel nothing along this inside edge, but if you press against it a little bit, you should be able to feel the side of the inside of the enclosure. That's right where it should be at. If you're feeling the inside of the enclosure bulging into the surround, then you have a problem. You need to sort that out. All in all, if you get this whole setup right, you can get a little bit lower tuning, a lot better cooling, better aesthetics, and better seal on the box. So overall, in my opinion, it's a win-win-win, depending on your circumstances. You may not have room for a bulging speaker, or you may not want that industrial aesthetic that it gives you. You may want the more chilled out, just a speaker cone. So it's up to you. I like the three-dimensional effect, the whole industrial aesthetic, showing the business of what's happening. I think it looks really nice. Plus, these are some good-looking subwoofers, so they look good mounted. Ultimately, it's personal choice. It's up to you to decide how you want to roll. I like the inverted subs in this particular setup, and I try to use it whenever I can because I think it looks really nice. But that is a personal choice. Hopefully this helps you guys understand a little bit about what's going on with the subwoofers and why we turn them wrong side out. Peace, guys.